Hey everyone, welcome back to 3D6 Down the Line, the most criminally underwatched actual play series on the internet. Thanks for tuning in. This is episode 93 of our Halls of Arden Vul Megadungeon crawl by Richard Barton using a heavily house-ruled version of Old School Essentials by Necrotic Gnome. Tonight we have a full house. My name is John. I'm your referee for the evening, and going around the horn we have...
Hi, I'm Mike, and I'll be playing Brother Lothar, the Cleric of Odin.
I'm David, and I'll be playing Upior, the 5th level magic user.
Hi, everybody. I'm Matt. I'm playing Wolfhead Cheek, 6th level fighter, goddammit.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ted, and tonight I will be reprising my role as Mortis J. Gobliano, 7th level goblin.
All right. So it is the 17th of Gelenios. It's about 1 p.m. They are in the giant fungal caverns. They have crossed from the northern section across the lake and have been exploring the southern section, which has a lot of large rock formations. They have made their way up the western staircase to a constructed parvis, which is basically like a raised paved area that is lined with two columns, two rows of columns. And at the farther northern end of it is a series of steps that actually goes up towards a throne made out of red garnet, jasper, I believe. Yeah, red jasper. And that throne is basically ringed on all sides with another series of very closely put close black marble pillars that are rising 20 feet into the air, freestanding. There is no ceiling above you on this parvis. Of course, there is the ceiling of the cavern far above you. And you know, too, that there are, on the southern end of this parvis, there is a 15-foot tall black hematite doors, which do remind you of the doors, not made out of the same stone, but of the same color. They were obsidian down in the Goblin Halls, and also stories that you've heard about the legendary obsidian gates. These, however, are hematite. They have Thothian symbols on them that are glowing, and I believe that basically sums it up. You heard, before ascending the parvis, you had heard laughter coming from that general area, and a single cry, a male cry saying, "To me," at some point as well. You were on the hunt for signs of the LRCP, the retreating LRCP, signs of Dano perhaps, and your overall goal has been to find the legendary back door, which is a beastman. Only the beastmen know about this exit onto the cliff face, which you suspect is somewhere on the southern end here somewhere. So you are all on top of the parvis, and Upior is floating, and I think that's the only sort of oddball sort of thing going on, right? Yeah. And you have your continual light tokens working.
Right. So from where we are, kind of are we right in front of the doors right now?
Yes.
Is that okay? So 10, 20, 30. So we can't even see the far end of this. What do you call it? The parvis, where the steps are, or is there enough kind of ambient light from the mushrooms to kind of give a dim sense?
No, there isn't really. No.
Okay.
So you can't really. I don't remember exactly where everyone was, but we'll just say for safety's sake that you're back towards those doors for now. So yeah, you can't really quite get a beat on it. Upior had you know what's there because of Upior's scouting around. The other, I do remember one also weird magical effect that's going on right now is that you are under the effects of silence for 1, 2, 3, 5 more turns.
Oh,
why don't I float straight up and see if I can get a vantage?
Cool.
Yep.
Okay. How are we tethering Upior right now? Just remind me who's got him.
He's attached. Yeah, he's attached to Wolfherd, and okay. Wolfherd has him like tied around his waist, but he can like pull him in or let him up. I think it's a 50-foot rope that we have you on.
Okay, cool.
Or did we make it 100?
Yeah,
it's 100.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, and the other effect that's currently going on is the Bracteros effect on the continual light lockets.
Correct.
Just for the audience to remember that. Okay, so you allow Upior to sort of float up. So Upior, you rise above these pillars that are around you, and these pillars were stone pillars. Yeah. Just sort of gray, you know what I mean? Like they're not like the black pillars above. So you kind of rise above those, and you, well, you still wouldn't be able to like really see that far ahead of you. You'd have to kind of move horizontally somehow.
Yeah, the first thing I wanted to do was assure that there wasn't a light source that was occluded by the height of that second platform. Sounds like there isn't.
No.
Correct. These pillars, do they have a in the main area we're in?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have a height maximum that they extend to?
Yeah, it's 30 feet into the
You say
air.
it was like 18 feet or something?
30 feet, he just said. So I'm going to extend to the top of the nearest one, I guess the bottom left or right. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm going to scramble atop it. Is there anything on top of it that I can see?
No, just like you
Okay.
know, debris and dust and stuff. Yeah.
I'm
And
basically
down
gonna
lower,
leap forward. Oh, sorry.
yeah. Just real quick before you start leaping on these, I just want to check. Is there anything we saw arcane glowing things on the doors?
Mhm.
Anything on the columns? If my buddy's going to be hopping around up there, I want to make sure they're not going to blow up or anything.
The columns are unmarked.
The other thing I was going to just ask, and I love the leapfrogging down the columns. Like, is there any structure between the columns, John, to kind of support them? Like, is there like a lintel going across the top, or are
No,
they just
all freestanding?
And do they seem fairly secure in their base? Like, if he pushes off of one, it's not going to topple or anything like that.
No, they look pretty sturdy. They're cracked and chipped and stuff like that, but none of them are like on the verge of falling. Yeah.
Just want to make sure we weren't going to get squashed. All right,
No,
David,
no.
do your thing, man.
All right, I'll leap forward, 10 or so feet, see if I see anything, leap another 10, see if I see anything, etc. I'll stop if I catch anything in my light's edge.
Okay, so yeah, your Bracteris effect. So that actually is really very effective.
30
here.
feet.
So, yeah. So yeah, you basically can hop all the way to the northern, to the furthest north pillar, and you're about 30 feet away from the steps there, right? So at the very edge of your light, I would say, and remember that whatever is there can't see you. You do see some movement sitting upon the throne. There is definitely a form there, but it's just beyond your light. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just going to give you the indication that there is someone sitting upon the throne.
What is the scale of that silhouette?
Humanoid. But it's like the chair is gargantuan, so the figure looks dwarfed inside the chair.
Sure.
It's much larger than the ruby throne, for instance.
I'm going to wait a few moments and see if there's any movement from that form or if it is an eerily still object.
No, there is movement. There's movement on the throne, and you also spy on. So there are. Remember on that raised area, which is 10 feet higher than the Parvis. That is ringed on the outer edge by very tightly set black marble pillars that only rise 20 feet up, right? But there, two of those pillars are actually freestanding right on either side of the throne, and standing in front of those pillars, basically like the right and left side of the throne, are fairly obvious to your eyes, even though they're sort of shadowed in darkness, to be fungal foresters, and they are the small little dudes, like the little 4-footers with the spotted
Are they the
caps.
same group? Do we think they're the same group that we saw going up the stairs ahead of us?
It's hard to tell just because they're in shadows and darkness.
Is the throned form holding anything in either of their hands, like a staff or a sword or any sort of thing like that?
I can't give you that because it's like, again, it's sort of just out of your range of light.
Or just go a little closer and ask him.
You can't go closer without propulsion horizontally.
Yeah, I could push a little bit forward, but the Bracteris is a 20-foot range, and I think 30 is the light. So I could go roughly 10 feet forward more.
Yeah.
But the pillar won't extend from there, so I need to.
But wait, if you're floating on, you floated up, you're sitting on top of a pillar, right?
Yeah.
And you just float one more inch and just jump off a little bit, you'll go 10 feet. And
I could literally just hold the edge of the pillar and push myself and hold the pillar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll I will very gently hold upon this sounds like I'm just gonna get a shout out of the sky. It's fine. I will push very gently.
Try the breaststroke.
Yeah, I'll
Guys,
extend. No, I'm not
right
letting
back,
go.
guys.
Sure. I'm not gonna let go of the pillar yet. I'm gonna extend my arm's length 3 foot forward and see if I see anything. John, do I?
No.
Come on,
Okay.
3 foot
Here's
bonus.
what I'm
3 foot bonus,
I'm
John.
gonna kind of like go horizontal, and I'm not gonna push, but I'm just gonna kind of like put my feet against the pillar and just sort of like stretch out in that direction. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like that workout thing with the
This is
wheel,
getting a little
but there's
cheesy,
no
I think,
wheel.
but
Yeah, it's a little. Yeah, because I
It's
mean,
a
you
little
need
cheesy.
you need like a full like 10 feet to like get more detailed. You know what I mean?
How about this? We know there's a perimeter wall. It's about the same height as this pillar, right? To my left, I think. Or how tall is the perimeter wall?
There's no wall. It's an open parvis.
The Parvis is open. I thought behind it there's a wall, but that's also just pillars.
Not a
So there
wall,
are
it's
pillars on top of walls.
Pillars. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting because the parvis is 20 feet up off the ground, and the pillars on it are 30 feet up. Right, so the pillar you're actually 50 feet above the fungal cavern floor, right? The raised section where the throne is 30 feet up off the ground, but the pillars are 20 feet, and they're black marble. So the tops of all pillars are 50 feet total off the ground. You understand?
Yes.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
that's kind of neat.
Cool.
Yeah. But there is no wall, and there is nothing sitting on top of the pillars. Everything's freestanding.
I think what we've got here, David, is a situation where you need to do some parkour.
Yeah. I've got a beta force I could parkour on top of that throne.
Yes, definitely attack first, then ask questions.
Yeah, I'll I mean the bottom line is I'm gonna hold on. I will be able to figure this out in just a moment. In just a moment, I'll have the perfect idea, everyone. Don't worry.
I mean,
I think it's like barring a staff of sorts, I'm not going to be able to like push out. And I guess I would roll, John, to see if I over push myself and like end up closer than I mean to. How would we want to?
Well, it's not like anti-gravity, right? So it's not like it's not like if you give a force that you're going to suddenly just kind of move horizontally and forever. Yeah. It only moves vertically. So only your own propulsion will allow you to move horizontally. So the moment that basically unless you have some other magical way of doing it, you would have to go up all the way to the ceiling stalactites and push yourself along that, like way high up above, and then descend or something like that.
Have you got you're not wearing a shield or anything you could use as a fan or
I mean, I have another length of rope, and I could measure it an additional 10 feet, tie it to the pillar, tie it to myself, and run and jump, and then be caught at the end of it if I don't pull the pillar down with me.
How about we go old school and you come back and we send somebody invisibly on foot to peek their head above the stairs.
I love it.
Well, let's do that. Somebody who can see in the dark.
Yeah, I do that.
We have Bracteros effect. So.
Yeah, I'll come back to you guys.
Okay, so I'm going to say it took a turn to do your little thing there. Okay, who has the silence cast on them?
Wolford does.
Wolford, yeah.
Wolford. Okay, so everyone within 15 feet of Wolford is quiet, just so you know.
So if I bring Wolford, actually, we could make Wolford invisible. What am I saying?
Yeah. Well, I'll do it. They can't hear me. Won't be able to see me.
All right. So those rings Elizabeth's wearing one of the rings. Do you want her to be blind or Mort to be blind?
Probably Elizabeth to be blind.
Okay, Mort will hand you his ring. Okay. And you go.
Okay.
And you're going to detach Upior, I assume.
I'll hold Upior. And I definitely won't just do this a bunch.
I mean, hold on. Is there any reason I shouldn't go high enough that I'd be out of his range and just come with him in case he needs help? And just be floating above?
I mean, everybody's just close by anyway.
Can't hear you, Mike.
at some point the rope.
I muted myself when I had to go upstairs. Yeah, I think that's actually really smart because also then if Upior or if Wilford gets into trouble, he can't yell for help. So you would be able to spot him and see him being eaten by the fungoid monsters and say, come get help.
Except that the rope is going to be visible. If the whole point is to go up and be like invisible sneaky guy, and then there's a rope that just goes up.
Well,
it's going to be really obvious.
It's pitch dark.
True.
Right?
No, because there's some light up on that platform, right, John? Like some glow.
No, because I would have seen them. There's no light.
Oh, no light at all.
The only light source is our Bracteris effects. So I would go high enough so that I wasn't at risk of being spotted. Basically.
So how is Wolford going to see up there?
That's the question.
Well, you cast Bracteris effect on all of our light sources, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
now
work just the same.
I have a question on how this works. I have a question on how this works. So the light radius is 30 feet, right?
Yeah.
Bracteris effect says anyone 20 feet beyond that can't see the light.
No.
So there's
anyone
a 20
within.
foot.
Sorry, David. Go ahead.
There's a 20-foot bubble, and I have the solution to this that involves Wolford, by the way. There's a 20-foot bubble, and inside which the light cannot be, inside which the light is seen by us, right? Outside which no light exudes, right?
So there's like a weird 10-foot bubble around that where there's light, but no one can see it.
So here's the solution. Yeah, go ahead.
If someone is in that light, but outside the Bracteris effect, do they realize they're being illuminated?
No, that's the point.
So Wolford should walk me over with my Bracteris so that I don't accidentally go further than 10 feet from a limit I was just at. And we should just stand and look at them because I will be able to see them then floating above.
Okay.
Right? Because we have a 10-foot margin there. Does that make sense?
Do it, Ted. Come on, man.
So we make Wolford invisible and he walks you over.
Yeah. And I'll just be 30 foot in the air, looking straight ahead. I'm going to have a lightning bolt scroll at the ready, though.
Okay, so Elizabeth goes blind, and Wolford and Upior move forward, encompass in silence. So, Wolford, you just go right up the steps because you're basically covered right now?
Yeah, I won't go. I don't want to go down the middle of the columns there. On the outside, on that left side of the row of columns, is where I'll go, and I'll just walk up since I can't really creep. I'm silent anyway, so yeah, I'll just walk up to the base of those stairs over on the left-hand side.
Yeah, right here, because I'll be able to see him. He doesn't need to ascend it.
Okay, yeah. So when you're sort of in that little niche there, where the stairs sort of encompass it, Upior, you can get a clear bead on what's going on. So first thing that you notice is that directly in front of the throne, between the throne and the set of steps, are 3 rectangular sections of mosaic. Okay, you can't quite make out exactly what they're depicting, but there are 3 clear, distinct mosaics that are in front of him, in front of the throne, and sitting. And indeed, you can confirm that there are 2 small little fungal foresters that are on either side. And sitting in the throne is a man wearing torn and filthy robes. You can't kind of quite tell like what color they used to be. He's thin, has greasy black hair and an aquiline nose, and he has a crazed look in his eyes. As he sort of moves his head around, peering beneath like lowered brows. And
is it Onweir? Sorry,
no.
Darrelad.
Darrelad's brother.
He also has. Give me 1 second.
Lightning shooting out of his fingers at us.
He has in one hand, he has a crooked wand made out of what appears to be some sort of like yew wood or something like that. He's sort of holding, grasping tightly. And at his throat is an amulet, and it is copper. Look at it shining redly in the light. A copper amulet that is studded with colorful glass. His other hand, his free hand, tends to sort of every once in a while just kind of go up to the throat to absent-mindedly, unconsciously sort of check to see that it's still there.
Okay. Did you say they were, when you said mosaic on the stairs, you meant like just a single piece of glass, like cut as a square?
There are three detailed mosaics that are on the floor between the throne and the stairs, not on the stairs.
Oh, so set down in the surface. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And
yes, now, correct. I know we can't see them clearly, John, but do they look like they're moving?
Yeah, everyone's sort of moving. Yeah, I mean,
No, the mosaics. The mosaics. Do they look like they're shifting, like those television ones that we saw before?
Yeah. Good question, Mike.
If you look, I mean, you're not there, but if Upior looks carefully, he can. Yeah, if he pays attention, he can see that there is movement in the mosaics. Yes, the tiles do seem to be shifting around. The person, the man seated in the throne, is appears to be like peering into the darkness, like southwards, like kind of like looking suspiciously in that direction, and like sort of mumbling to himself. Just,
huh.
This sounds like a role-playing encounter.
Do we want to mess with this guy, or do we want to just like ask him what the deal is with these doors? Do you think he's just going to try to kill us if we say hi to him? I mean, I can't.
I mean, I'm all for it. It's all fun and games till he cuts off your hand, you know?
I swear by Wilfred's right hand that we should go forth into this encounter. I'm kind of tempted. He does sound like he's crazy, but he also sounds like maybe he's strongly suspicious that we're here.
He might also really like something like food or ale or something else like that, right? Like, I mean, there might be some creature comfort that we can provide this crazy fucker to not have him shoot whatever's on that wand at us. So,
John, just to be clear, he's sort of emaciated. Does his skin look leathery, like he's undead, or does he very much look alive?
You could definitely he does not look undead at all.
Okay,
he just looks like he's rather malnourished or just doesn't care about his appearance really.
Well, sounds like a great time for a bag chicken.
Yeah, you guys should come up. Oh, you want me to throw a chicken out? I can throw a chicken out. We've got the bag. Oh no!
I think
Barrios has the bag.
Yeah.
Barrios has the bag. He can pull something out if he wants.
I think I should put on the mask of Torisus and we get a little goblin high priest to come up and interact with him.
Yeah, while you invisible people get ready to mug him if he plays a fool.
That's right.
All right, I'm down with you. I'll go with you, Ted.
All right. So you guys, David and Wolford, also named as Matt, will stay where they're at. Barrios will stay out of the way so no one sees the sack. And Mike and I will go up the stairs and make contact. Yes?
Yeah. Elizabeth will stay.
Elizabeth's coming with us?
She'll stay back by the column since she's blind.
Just one more appraisal before this goes down. John, you said he had a wand and a glass, a phylactery on his neck, a glass something around his neck.
A copper amulet with glass studs.
Studs. And he was fingering at it, which means it was important.
Probably.
If things go poorly quick, and you can manage it, take the thing off of his neck, and I can cast Forget on him.
That sounds like a invisible mat job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'll be able to pull it off, but just so you know,
all right.
1 to 4 creatures, if they fail, they lose memories that will be restored by healing. It's the immediate past, though, so I don't think it could be a prolonged, sequence. Last round plus 1 additional round per 3 caster levels. That would be two rounds.
He'd know it was gone, but he wouldn't know who took it.
Yeah.
He'd have some strong evidence, however, to suggest.
Yeah. I'm just letting you know. I'm letting you know I have it. Anyway, go for it.
Okay. All right. So if Barrios and Elizabeth stay behind in the dark, Barrios will watch out for Elizabeth. All right. So I'll put on the mask of Torisus. I don't want to get right up within 30 feet, but close-ish, and I will say, Hail to the sitter upon the throne. It is I, Mortis J. Gabliano. May I approach?
Visitors to the great Lord Ptarmis, warden of the fungal caverns. Approach. Mort, your heart leaps into your throat because you, alone of everybody, recognize that voice. It is the voice of Heliogabalus.
What?
What?
The Dalton's darling. For those who haven't
break right there.
who haven't seen it for a long time, the Dalton's darling that got dropped by goblins so long ago.
Crap. I thought Heliogabalus died. I thought he fell off the cliff and died.
You got dropped off the cliff, but who knows?
We never saw the body. If you don't see the body, it doesn't happen.
Oh. All right. Okay,
Upior, I should say, when he seems to be, he doesn't seem to like act weird. He just seems very full of himself when he sort of does that. Upior, you can see though that the fungal forcers sort of get more at attention, like they're obviously like facing outwards, like peering hostilely sort of outwards, that sort of thing.
All right.
Do they have any weapons, John, or are they just mushroom men standing?
They do not. These two do not to know.
Okay.
All right. We go up the steps, let me step forward into the. No, he doesn't have any light, does he?
No.
All right, this is gonna be weird then, because suddenly I'm going to appear out of the darkness when I'm 10 feet away from him, as he enters. Well, 20 feet away as he enters my circle of light.
Okay, cool. So,
would you like me to? Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
At which point I'll do a little polite bow.
Would you like me to cast Charm Person on him right now?
No, hold on that.
Yeah, hold on. But that's a great thing to have in the can for sure.
All right.
Okay, so you enter into the light, and he sort of blinks a little bit. And Mort, you see that he is a shadow of the man that the confident, sort of sneaky man that you knew before, right? Like he's definitely thinner. His eyes are sort of large circles are surrounding them, and his eyes appear to also be wider, like they're attempting to sort of take in as much light as possible. And his fingernails are long, and he doesn't have, it looks like he still shaves, but it's kind of scraggly. He also seems to have he's got that, you can tell it's him because he's got that same greasy black hair and the aquiline nose. His face appears to have been broken and healed badly in a number of places. You just took it for normal ugliness, Upior, but Mort, you could tell that this, something happened to him.
Fall down and go boom.
But he has a smile on his face, and you can tell because his eyes are so wide that he is thoroughly mad. Okay. And he shows no sign of recognizing you at all. And,
good.
He says, "That is
probably for the best.
What an interesting headdress you wear. I would love to see your face itself, little man. Present yourself before the Lord Ptarmis."
What did he say? Prostrate?
Present yourself.
Present yourself.
Present yourself. Easy.
Prostate exam. Bend over.
What brings you to my domain?
I and my fine companions have been traveling through the fungal caverns. It is said that Lord Ptarmis is master of this place.
It is correct. The Lord Ptarmis is the master.
It is also said that Lord Ptarmis died some 1,000 years ago or more. What a shock to find you here upon the throne.
Fake news, friend. Fake news. The Lord Ptarmis is alive and well in the regal form that you see before you. Behold my domain. Behold Lord Ptarmis's minions.
David, don't you have this dude's spell book?
Yeah.
He's so sad. While this interchange is going on, by the way, Wolford's going to creep up the stairs along the left-hand side, so at least he's on the same level.
Wolford and Upior, when you kind of move up onto that level, Upior, you can kind of get the beak from on high. That behind his left elbow, on the wide arm of the throne, there is a tiny silver bell. easily within
Okay.
reach of him.
Okay. Since I'm wearing the Mask of Tauresis, I will, as I do, automatically detect illusion and lies and deception. I'm assuming all is as it seems, but if there's anything to see,
yes, he is. If you detect lies, you can. He does not appear to be lying knowingly.
right. That's what I figured. Yeah.
Hey, John, is it possible if Wolford is now? You said you went up left here, vaguely where I'm pointing.
I'm sorry, I'm not in the mirror.
Matt, I'm asking Matt. You said you went up the stairs to left here.
Yeah, I don't see
What I
Just 1
understood there.
second.
Yeah.
If so, I would be adjacent to this pillar on the left, and I'd like to get upon that pillar and untether myself from Wolford.
Okay, sure. You were perched atop there.
Yeah, and I'm going to try to slowly move up that way, but I'm going to wait till they're talking, if that's possible. So there's sound sort of dampening any sound I would make. So there's talking, some dampening any sound I would make, even though I'm kind of like weightless. But you know what I mean? Like I don't think I would make a big crash. Is that reasonable to say?
Yeah, where are you going?
Well, these
Hopping
pillars
from column to column?
are column to column. So I'm going to do a similar thing. I think they're closer than the other ones were, right? Because
What's your goal, though?
To move up and around behind him, basically.
Behind, okay.
Is the goal.
Yep, you can do that.
Okay.
You're wearing the iron circlet right now?
I am.
Okay, so you notice a number of things. First of all, the mosaics are magical. The amulet, of course, is magical. The wand is magical. There's a ring on his hand that is also magical.
And the silver bell.
The silver bell is not magical.
Interesting.
I think, Matt, if things go pear-shaped, move close to him so he can't ring that bell.
Yeah, I'm ready to rush as soon as things look like they're not doing great.
But
Okay.
that
How
appears to be
much
the
faith do you all have
only
in
thing enchanted around.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
So, Ted,
Yeah.
I feel like you need to try and talk this guy out of being crazy and see if we can get him back to town. Might be a good thing to do.
Let's see where we go.
Do you want to pretend to be Dalton?
No. All right. So I want to compliment him on his fine caverns and his most really excellent fungal folk that
The
are
Lord
here.
Ptarmis thanks you for your kind words.
And I would ask him if you feel so inclined to tell me how is it that you have become lord of such a strange and enchanting place, such mysteries.
Well, the Archon, of course, appointed me as the most apt person, the one whose knowledge has been, whose I can speak more clearly than this normally. My studies are steeped in mycology, of course. I was the Lord Ptarmis was the natural choice. I'm not doing it well, but he always speaks in the third person.
He's not giving any sort of vibe that he's actually possessed by Lord Ptarmis, is he? Or really more of a dribbling mad vibe?
More of a mad vibe, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He might have tried to loot it that necklace off
That's
of.
kind of what I'm wondering. Yeah. Well, my Lord Ptarmis, I and my companions here are but passing through. We did not know that these lands were still ruled by your lordship, and I request leave that we may continue our journey. We seek the exit out into the world of daylight. Have you seen it?
I know of what you seek, of course, and of course you may travel through my domain as long as you harm nothing, nor my minions.
We have been well warned by some time ago by members of the Beastman world that to seek to harm any part of the fungal caverns was folly, and we have been most careful.
Let's see. He says to find the back door through a series of winding tunnels to the south. The beastmen who patrol through here, on occasion, they head towards the east. They must have an entrance there that leads to those tunnels.
Aha. You have not yourself gone that way?
I know of them. I have never been inside because that is not my domain, but there are paths in the forest that the beastmen use that I allow them to maintain. That Lord Ptarmis allows them to maintain.
You are wise and generous.
Should you descend the eastern steps, you shall see one of those paths immediately.
Splendid. Tell me, what is this structure upon which we stand here? It is mighty but mysterious.
Mighty. It's a mighty structure.
It is all part of my domain, constructed in ages past and given to me by the Great Archon.
And the doors over there? Any idea what's on the other side of those?
Impassable.
Ah, I see.
Only those of the highest esteem of Thoth may pass through them, is what the Lord Ptarmis has been told. I care not for the workings of Thoth any longer. Or the Lord Ptarmis cares not, I should say.
Right. So at that point, I will, because I think I'm probably standing on the mosaics, and I will mock sort of, oh, my heavens, what is this? And I will sort of turn and look and see what the mosaics show me. What magic, what sorcery is this?
You look down and you can see that there are 3 mosaics. And what's interesting is that you recognize all 3 of the places.
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
One of them is shows you basically a picture as if the camera is sort of floating in the air outside the cliff face of Arden Vul and is looking at a section of the switchback stair that goes up. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Like maybe the switchback stair that approaches this nearby entrance, perhaps. Okay.
Yeah, this is the ring light feed.
Yeah, right.
There is no movement in that mosaic.
Right.
In the second mosaic, it shows what is clearly like a depiction of the fungal forest, and in the center of the mosaic itself is a depiction of a steel cage rising slightly above the tops of the mushrooms. It seems to be the cage upon which you entered.
Okay.
The forest. There's no movement in that one either.
Okay.
The third one has movement all over the place because it shows in the center of it a large ibis-headed figure, a statue of Thoth in the middle of a large square chamber, and there are all sorts of tiles moving about that seem to be in vaguely small humanoid form.
Debouchement.
Indeed.
Nice. Oh, it's so interesting.
Dude, does he not recognize?
Indeed, you can see that
hang
Lord
out.
Ptarmis's eyes reach further than just the forest.
I see indeed. You gaze upon the goblins, do you not?
I do. What appears to be. I have no interest in that. Lord Ptarmis has no interest in them. But Lord Ptarmis was aware that you entered the forest not long ago. I was waiting for you.
Even so.
The Lord Ptarmis was waiting for you. My apologies.
Ted, do you want to ask him what's up on that high cliff to the west of us?
To the east.
No, I'm talking about his tomb.
Yeah.
Oh, his own tomb.
Yeah.
Lord Ptarmis, forgive me if this is a personal matter, but just to the west, we saw a mighty tomb that we believed contained you. Have you? What is it if it is not your tomb?
He laughs maniacally and he says, "You are correct, Mortis. That was Lord Ptarmis's tomb. Lord Ptarmis, as you see before you, is, of course, a reincarnation of that Lord Ptarmis.
Oh, well done, sir. Well done indeed.
Blessed by the gods. For the fungi need tending."
They do. you'll forgive my saying, but you look shockingly familiar to me. Haven't we met before somewhere?
The Lord Ptarmis is confident that we have not met before.
What if the vessel he's inhabited? You know.
Yeah. You didn't used to ever live somewhere else besides here in the caves?
The Lord Ptarmis has no remembrance of that, and cares not, for his gold purpose in this life is clear.
Guard the fungal caverns.
You've got it, friend.
Ah, well done, sir. Well done. They do need lots of guarding. So you won't mind if we just head on out, say adios, thanks, and we're very nice to your funguses, and we'll just go find the exit.
Yes, with Lord Ptarmis's blessings.
Splendid.
Hey.
Very good.
All right, we got a blessing.
Any
Ask him
messages
if he
for
knows anybody
anyone,
named-
or
Ted, ask him if he knows anybody named Dalton.
you think I want to trip that memory? All right. Why not?
Why not?
As I'm about to turn, I say, oh, I know what it was. You
Oh, the
look
Columbo.
the
One
exact-
more thing.
Oh, one more thing. You look a lot like a guy that used to hang out with what was his name? Dalton or something. Yeah, Dalton. Friend of yours?
He just looks blankly at you.
Okay.
The Lord Ptarmis has no memory of this person.
Just one of those faces, I guess. Any message for the outside world we could pass on to anybody?
Stay away from the fungal caverns, lest you be apprehended by the Lord Ptarmis.
Well, we were sort of hoping we'd come back this way. But if we were very, very polite and careful on the paths, would that be all right?
You have been a polite guest in the Lord Ptarmis's presence. Therefore, you and thy companions have my leave to travel through here. Have Lord Ptarmis's leave to travel through here. Save that you treat my domain with care and respect.
So stay on the paths. No fires or lightning
Pack
strikes.
in, pack out. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yep.
Pretty much. All right. Well, your lordship, that is again wise and generous, and we thank you for your consideration. And I apologize for disturbing your obviously very important work you're doing here.
Begone, I must tend to my forest.
I shall be gone immediately.
Since we are not about to be imminently murdered, do we need to take more time to study those doors and see if there's a way to open them, or did we already do that? I can't really remember.
We studied him pretty good, I thought, but that may have just been us thinking about it in the detox. But what did he say? That only the highest esteem of Thoth can pass through.
You're like the Toresis of Roth.
Yeah.
of Thoth.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do feel like I ought to be able to do something with these doors. So,
I'm
but
sure
I'll-
those runes don't mean that much.
Well,
Not to a guy like you.
Who, me? Or are you talking to?
Yes. No,
Yeah,
I'm in
well, yeah.
I'm in complete silence.
No, runes don't mean anything to goblins. Goblins just go where they want. That's just how we are. All right, so I'll just give him a jaunty wave and a little bow and back down the stairs.
Okay. Yeah, he just watches you go with a smile on his face.
Okay, he's a nutter. That was bizarre. Heliogobulus, man. So
Yeah,
David
but-
is like in position behind him for full wizard assassination mode here.
You gonna put another notch on your belt there?
Wouldn't be the first time.
I mean, I have a 6 foot heavy black iron spear.
Yeah,
Conversation took a
yeah,
turn.
I have a dagger that has a poison on it that I could just sort of float down to him on if you'd like. But
I mean, we don't need to kill him.
I don't think we need. There's no need. Yeah.
I mean, there's no need to find out what that wand, amulet, and ring do.
Yep.
We've got so many. We're loaded with wands and rings and
Yeah,
amulets.
we have plenty. We don't need any more. We should just retire.
That's what I've been saying. But no, I do kind of think it might be nice to have someone here in the fungal caverns that we are friends with.
I'm
true.
fine.
Okay, let's leave them. Let's let them
I'm
live.
good with sticking on our plan to find that exit. We know we
This
got
doesn't
a
stick in
source
my
of
craw.
information now.
This doesn't stick in my craw quite as much as letting what's her name, Estelle go with a bag full of money and her magic items. That hurt worse. I'm not holding a grudge.
All right, I'm gonna I guess frog hop back to a southerly pillar and then float down.
Well, I mean, Wolford's walking down the steps
Right
and
there, yeah.
following these guys anyway. So,
All right. So I do want to take another look at the doors when we get down there, and but I think we should probably just keep going.
Okay.
So the doors are covered in runes, you said, John?
Yeah, so they have Thothian runes that are have a pulsating with purple light. There's an ankh on each door, and there's a feather on the western door and an ibis on the eastern door. So all obvious signs of Thoth.
And the ankhs, are they the same like method of carving and depth and everything as the others, or do they look like you put something in the ankh? Or
No, they're more like they're like arcane symbols. You know what I mean? So they're just visible to even the untrained eye. So they're only magically present. You know what I mean? They're not inscribed.
Right.
Are there any blast marks on the floor or indications whether or not the door is open out or in?
So that's a good question, actually. So Lothar, you can tell that there is an arc, for each door that's scraped through the stone, and they definitely. So it looks like they open towards you.
Okay. And no obvious handles.
No.
I'm going to try knocking.
Dunk, dunk, dunk. Nothing happens.
And
Okay.
Friend Mort, you hear a call from behind. Hands off the doors. Leave them be.
And does your circlet of gonorrhea show anything on the doors?
Does the circle of
I don't know what he means.
or not the Masteresis, but do I see anything, John?
The symbols are magical.
Okay. You want to touch one?
All I want to here's what I want to do. Wolford's going to take his ibis feather, like his mott feather, basically, that he got from him, and he's just going to hold it kind of close, like wave it around near the door that has the ibis feather on it, to see if those runes change or flicker or respond to its presence at all.
Nothing happens when you pull out the mott feather.
What if Mort gets out his he has a jeweled ankh, and he gets it out and says, in the name of Thoth, and I'll read off. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I'll read off some of the other names of Thoth.
Use the one that was in the tomb of Ptarmis.
Oh yeah.
What was that one?
We found a piece of paper. Yeah, where'd that go? The font. Font of magic. I would say, "Oh, almighty Thoth, oh font of magic, open."
When you say one of the secret names of Thoth, Mort, a keyhole appears in one of the doors. Actually, two keyholes. One keyhole appears in each one of the doors, and it looks like it's extremely large. It would fit a very large key.
We found a big key. We found the key ankh in the laboratory.
We have a big key.
We have a bunch of big keys. There's
we have it with us, though.
Big. I don't think we do. I'm just looking.
This is actually a good time to take our first break, so you can search the inventory, and we can come back fresh with what you've got on you. So let's take a quick break, and we will be right back. All right, we are back. Bladder's empty, beer's full. Mike will be with us in just a couple of minutes. He's tucking some kids in. Okay, so right. So what's the status of these? What the keys that you think open these doors?
We found in Isocritus' laboratory a pair of large bronze keys that I don't know if you can tell us, John, whether in our estimation they look like they're the right size and fit from memory, but that's the only large keys that we know of that we've ever found, and we do not have them with us. They're in our stash.
It's tough you haven't laid eyes on them in some time. But you would say, like, because they're the only large keys you've seen, they are the first that pop into your head as possibilities. Right. Put it that way.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I figured you'd say. One has to hope. So we don't have them here, so I think we should leave the door alone. But we have a plan to go to the stash anyway.
Yeah, that's where we're headed. So
this could be really cool. So let's put a pin in that and go down the stairs to the east. What do you guys say?
Yeah. Elizabeth will drop the blindness.
Okay.
Wolford pops back into place.
Do you want to give the ring back to Mort then, or do you want to keep it?
Sure, you can have it. You can have it. It's fine.
Because I might have to scout.
Okay, and you tie up Upior back to Wolford again?
Yeah, you want to be floating again? Oh, muted one?
Sorry, I'm muted. Yes, I would love that.
Okay. So if we go down the stairs, John, do we find a path pretty much immediately, or what do we see?
Okay, so you head down the path, and Heliogabalus passes into the darkness. When you're at the base of that, there you can see clearly that it's actually not clear. It's the fungal forest that basically marches right up and surrounds that entire staircase, just like it did on the western side. So you delve back into the forest itself. Right in front of you at the base of that steps, though, there is the indications of a faint path. Problem is that it's heading directly north and directly south.
Okay.
And it's right at the base of that massive rock formation that's directly in front of you. So the way that you're facing eastward, so directly in front of you, rising way up above the tops of even the highest mushrooms, is this black face of a rock. You know what I mean? Basically,
right.
It goes up around about 40 feet, give or take a couple of feet, depending on like the cragginess of it at any given point.
David, should we let you go up and you can see what's on top?
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Can we look at the ground, John, and see if either of the paths have been traveled more recently?
Oh, yeah, Barrios can do a track check if you like.
Yeah, it would take Barrios to figure that out if anyone.
He'll do it. He'll get down and do his little Aragorn routine.
Okay, so I'm going to give him a 60% chance.
And I rolled a 34.
Okay, so Barrios can look, and he says that he rolled really well too. He tells you that it's this path hasn't been trammeled in many ages, but I can tell that the northern path was the more traveled, but not in any recent memory.
So then we know that Dano and her entourage didn't come through here.
Likely. There must be another path that connects from the southern dock.
Remind me, gang, did the caved-in doorway to the west?
Yeah.
Did we get a sense that it caved in a long time ago, or that it had been recently caved in? Okay, so they wouldn't have caved in behind them.
Sorry,
someone selected.
Wasn't me.
I know. I'm fixing it. Or I'm trying to. There we go.
There you go.
Is that fixed? It looks right.
Also, it has only occurred to me now that our drawing, sorry for the listener inability to see this, our drawing of the pavilion at the center kind of looks like a snowman.
Sad snowman.
He's a very sad snowman.
Now that's all we can see is sad square snowman.
David,
sorry to take us away from the adventure there, but I had to say it.
David, it's actually good you brought that up, because if I did say that it looked like it was some time ago, I misspoke. It's actually the exact opposite.
Okay.
That door, remember how it was sort of like holding back like a lot of rock that had sort of fallen, but sort of kinked out open, right? But it does look like it was, relative. I mean, it's hard to tell. It's a bunch of rocks, right? But it looks relatively recent.
Okay.
I take out my carbon dating kit.
Yeah, it's feasible. Sorry, I keep getting distracted by Ted fucking up the map. You're supposed to be good at this, Ted.
No, it's feasible. There's something wrong because I'm unselecting the tool and it's not unselecting. So I got
it's all good. My point is just that it's feasible that they escaped that doorway and covered their back because they were afraid
Right.
of
So-
pursuers.
Well, remember also, like we followed the path less traveled.
Correct.
So we did not see tracks going this way. What it looks like they did is they went east along the shore of the lake,
Right.
and either I mean, since there's nothing right here showing that they went farther south, they looped around the edge or wherever that path leads, right?
Fair.
To
Yeah,
get
yeah.
to where they, wherever
Arios
they're going.
concurs with your conclusion, Wolford.
All right, good. Who did it then? I wonder.
Yeah. Well, I say you can't hear me, but he's pointing south and making faces like he's complaining about something.
Yeah,
Well,
no, I think
good.
I was just going to say, I think that if we take the northern of the two branches, we'll probably come back to where they joined up with that area.
Why don't I float up to this cliff, appraise what's atop, see if it's advantageous of us to traverse it before going southward, and let you guys know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, Upior, you raise up. Now, at this end, it's about 40 feet up, and remember that it slopes upward to the northeast end to 60 feet. However, let's see, can you guys see my cursor?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, give me 1 second. Right, I have so many screens. Right here,
Yeah.
okay, you espy something not natural atop that rock formation. Now, to be clear, this isn't like the tomb of Ptarmis, right, where it was like flattened out and a structure put upon it. Like this is a natural rock formation, so it's jagged and rocky and no clear path. But so rising amongst this natural, flow of rock on the top is something that exudes a palpable evil that your arcane senses are picking up. That is and it is
You're drooling, David.
it is a pillar 8 feet in diameter, rising 15 feet above the formation upon which it stands, and it is carved in an obscene spiral fashion.
Ooh, an obscene
John.
spiral.
Does this one? Okay, so Wolford's only heard tales of this. Does this look like the pillar that is kind of north of here? Remember when we were like searching around in the caverns that are to the east of the chasm?
Yep.
We found like this area where there was this room that had like a weird pillar in the center that was exuding evil. Also, does this remind Mort of that? I guess Mort would have seen it
Upior is the only
himself.
one who can see it. Let's put it that way.
Well, how's the wall up? If we wanted to climb up, is it sheer or are there? You mentioned it was natural. Would there be handholds to climb up?
I can
There
drop
are handholds.
a rope.
It would require a climbing check, though.
I can just drop a rope. I have another 100 feet of rope.
Do we want to go futz with the pillar of evil?
Yes. Come up.
Ted and I passed on the last pillar of evil that we found.
I mean, here's my thought. We don't need to futz with the pillar. What I am curious of, the reason I came up here was what's on the other end of this? What's up here when it raises up to 60 feet? Because it's such a small space between the two. If you on the rightmost segment, and also what we might see as a vantage above to the southeast of us before delving in there. So we might see Dano or things like that. It just gives us a good vantage, is what I'm saying. So I don't know if you guys agree with that. We don't need to actually touch the pillar or do anything substantial, but I think it gives all of us an ability to sort of survey with an advantage. How do you feel?
I have a lot of curiosity on the pillar, I have to say. I just obviously something that just radiates palpable evil gives me pause. So what is the secret circlet of Gonor show? Anything additional?
It radiates magic.
Is there any
Evil
I don't know if there are affinities in evil, but is there any sense of similarity between the evil golden head and this pillar? Just evil is evil, I guess. Yeah, I don't know what I'm asking here.
It's tough to tell. Yeah. First of all,
why
you're
don't
not
you guys-
you're not examining it. You're not close to it. It's just like you rose up to that level, and off in the distance, of like 15 feet away or whatever, you see this pillar sort of rising out, and you're like, ugh, that's not good. So you can see that there's twisting forms depicted on the pillar, but you're not close enough. You know, this is the first cursory glance you've seen of it.
Why don't I drop 100 feet of rope to you guys, stake it into the ground because I have stakes, or into the cliff where I'm at, so you guys have a way of hoisting up. And then before you get up and all die because I've looked at the pillar, I'll go look at the pillar and take the risk. How about that?
Well, I mean, I'm curious about the pillar. It's not where he said the exit might be. So if we want to stay true to our exit mission, we can pass on the pillar for now. I mean, or we can give in to curiosity and go like potentially die.
See,
It's in a fun way.
I'd rather get out, get the keys, come back and do the doors,
Of course.
than be melted by a pillar and start over at level 1.
Do I notice, John, any disturbances on the ground or in a radius around that pillar?
No, but
Like animal bones or...
It is jagged rock with no clear footing. There's no clear flat place. It doesn't even look like the pillar should. You don't even see how the pillar is anchored, right? It's just rising out amidst like a bunch of rock, you know.
Weird.
Oh, so it's not like we could just traipse along the top of this
Yeah,
anyway.
I thought it was
seems like
plateau.
That's what I'm trying to make
Yeah.
clear, is that this is a totally natural rock formation. So there is no it's not like a plateau. Do you know what I mean? And
Gotcha.
then it leaps upwards, sloping like upwards towards the northeast. But that is like crawling over, crags and crevices, for a number of feet. There's no clear footing.
If we were up there, we would be moving at a significantly lower rate.
You'd be very
Because we're
hampered,
scrambling
and if something bad happened up there and you needed to like run, it would be a fucking nightmare.
And if you try and take a selfie at the top, you'll fall off backwards and kill yourself.
Yeah, it's just dangerous.
is
Dangerous
known.
footing. If you're very
I
careful, it's fine. But yeah,
Totally agree. I also agree with getting out of here. Where was the exit indicated again?
Somewhere to the east.
Yeah, he said it was along the cave walls to the east.
yes,
Okay.
it leads.
So
he said it leads to a tunnel system that leads to the back door to the south.
And one last question, and I'm sorry if this is repetitive. It's in an obscene spiral shape. Only imagine what that means. But the glyphs are on it, correct?
You can't tell. He hasn't approached it yet. What I mean by obscene
I'm
is
saying,
like
do you want me to approach it?
picture like what's that, like H.R. Giger, like that kind of spiral, like serpentine, slightly phallic, like awfulness. You know what I mean? That's what you're kind of looking at.
Mike, I will also remind you, since you are woe to use it, that you have a shield that allows you to fly at will.
It's true. I know, David. I'm loath to use it unless I'm using it to get away from something.
All right.
Because I can only use it once per day. It's not like I can use it for 3 turns per day. It's like it's one time per day. So, I mean, is it worth just trying to see what the runes on it are? Because last time we found one of these, we had no one that spoke Mithric. So
We don't know if it has runes on it or not. We don't know what's on
this
it.
is what I was saying. I don't think we should go touch the thing. Would you like me to get closer so I can see it? Closer can be 20 feet away.
yeah.
You understand? That's why I was asking about a radius. Go ahead, Ted.
Well, how about this? So we're at the southernmost point of this feature, and it's a little bit northeast from here.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we go north on the trail a little bit and see if it goes along this feature at some point? We might be able to just raise you up right by it.
Yeah.
You don't have to risk yourself climbing or anything like that.
Sure, just raise me, walk adjacent to it at the cliff base, and then I'll hover up and look in the air straight forward.
Is there a 5-foot sort of non-fungal gap between the?
Unfortunately, not. That only exists on the cavern walls. So and you can quickly see that when you move like 10 feet along the path, you can see that it is not moving along the.
Not go there.
Go to the east.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's up to you,
I do
man.
think we should go find the exit. I think knowing what's on it might be advantageous because if it has any correlation to other things we find, it might be good knowing. I don't want to touch it.
If you see something that says, this pillar put here by Set personally, that's really helpful information.
You could easily, because there's so many handholds, Upior, you could propel yourself horizontally towards it you know.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, that's
so
what I thought.
how about this? How about this as a compromise? Don't take the noise or the time to drive a stake. You loop your rope around a rock, right? So that and you can hold it with the thing. Then the rock's hanging down. Wolford can climb up that rock or up the rope.
You don't need to come up.
To watch you, so that if something bad happens to you, he can pull you back. Right,
Guys,
so you're not up there by
I'm
yourself.
fine taking the risk. John, I just activate my shield and I fly up to it and go look at it. I'll
You
stay
read
10
Mithric?
feet away from it.
Do you read Mithric?
Yep.
Oh, then
Okay.
fine.
All right, so you intone the command word of the kite shield. I can't remember what it was, but I remember it was like a noble house of Arkantos, and you are able to take flight, holding that ahead of you.
Okay.
I think
Holding out
the
in
command
my
word
other
is
hand-
we.
Holding out in my other hand, no, it's Dominari Kylos or something like that. So holding out in my other hand, the amulet with the light spell and the Bracteros effect. I'll try and see if I can, if when I get within 30 feet, if I can see enough of it without approaching closer.
Yeah, you could. So at that distance, you too can feel like the evil sort of emanating off of it. Yeah, it's 15 feet high, 8 feet in diameter, carved in a spiral fashion, and it looks like it's carved with what looks to be little more than faceless lumps at this distance right now. Like it's been so worn over time that whatever was there before is only faceless lumps, but difficult to tell without getting closer if there's any more detail you can make out.
I'll go 10 feet closer.
Okay. When you're about 5 feet away from it now, you can feel that there is a chill that is an unnatural chill that is emanating and pulsing off of the pillar. All right. When you stare at the pillar, its obscenity, its wrongness seeps into you. I need you to make me a save versus spells, please.
That's not good. All right. My save versus spells is a 12. I have a +1 for my wisdom. Got my dice. But they're right here.
Rookie move.
I know.
It's a good thing we didn't send our only cleric up there all by himself.
I got an 11, John.
What is that?
I think that just misses.
Okay.
Just misses.
Okay, so you miss. So you are something bad happens to you.
So if it matters, I just want to remind you that I have a amulet of spell absorption on.
Okay.
If that matters.
I need to find a spell. Give me one moment.
Oh, see, that's a good sign.
Mike has just learned another valuable lesson. Always let David go first.
David's gone first
I
enough.
offered.
Okay, I need you to
Hey,
roll me 2d6.
Oh, this is the number of extra limbs you get.
6? Okay. So you are you look at this thing and your mind sort of reels from some sort of awfulness that just sort of pervades it, and you are thoroughly addled as you just are you were sort of flying around, kind of looking at it from all angles, and you just sort of stop in midair and you're just like, what am I looking at? Roll me a d10.
That is a 3. A 3 is what I rolled.
A 3. Okay, so everything sort of shimmers around you. The only thing that's in focus is the pillar, right? And what were faceless lumps, as you're sort of trying to take it all in, seemed that you kind of understand that you're probably hallucinating. You're not really sure, but those faceless lumps actually turn into something. And you see, like, marching around in a spiral fashion, like Trajan's column, you can see what appear to be hopping salamander-headed bipeds that are wreaking destruction on lizards.
I give a loud ribbit and try to talk to them.
Nothing
How
happens.
fucked up am I, John?
You can do nothing. You can do nothing but stare at it. Upior, you see your companion basically pretty near you, just sort of hanging out in midair with his shield. and his mouth is gaping open. You literally see like a little thing of drool start to drip down, and your heart leaps up into your throat, Upior, as you see his arm holding the shield start to slowly droop down.
I'm gonna let's hope I can cowboy this shit. I've got another rope, and I'm gonna try to make a lasso really quick. Actually, there's a grappling hook on it. I'm sorry if this hurts, but that's probably a better idea.
What the fuck?
Gotta make sure it's
The
secure.
lasso is kind of hard to get a straight trajectory on, so
Hook it in his eye socket that he's not using.
remember
I
how
got
I
a
got
big
that
one.
corpse? Yeah, remember. I'm yelling into the mic. Sorry, everyone. Remember I got that corpse by the collarbone. No. I'm gonna try to like aim over him, so maybe I can hook his pack or something that will catch the
Okay,
grappling
so
hook.
let me
Does
get
that
this
make
straight.
sense?
Do you have a separate rope that is not the rope that you're attached to?
I have 200 feet of rope on me, 100 of which I'm using to attach to Wolford, and 100 else I borrowed a grappling hook from Mike earlier in case I needed to do any fishing.
Okay, got
That
it. Okay.
other 100 feet, thankfully I have. Thanks to
Okay.
the grappling hook, Mike.
All right.
I'm going to go and try to
Got it.
pull him
I
back.
mean, obviously that is not a sure thing, so I do think that you're going to have to make like a ranged attack roll. So
I'm
you
sorry, Mike.
So I'll give
Mike's-
you short distance, so that gives you an automatic +1, and then you can get your dex bonus if you have one. You can add that as well.
I don't.
And
but,
John, just to be clear, the amulet of spell absorption did not negate that effect.
It did not. The AC is his AC is going to be 10 though, because it's not like you're trying to get through his armor.
Yeah, exactly.
And so Mike's robot eye didn't mitigate this in any way, I guess.
His eye does
And-
the fear effect.
Right. So I'm really hoping Kerbal Khan is actually watching through Mike's eye right now, and he's going mad too. I think that would be great.
All right, shall I roll?
His days are probably better than mine, Ted.
Well, yeah.
All right, I'm going to roll.
Okay.
That is a 4 + 1.
Okay. So yeah, you try, like you're like, oh shit, he's gonna fall, and you whip it around, but it sails over his head. Okay, Lothar, you're in a stupor of basically evil just washing over you. You drop out of the sky, and I'm gonna give you. Roll me a d6. I'm going to give you a 4 and 6 chance that you're going to drop onto the top of the rock formation, and 5 and 6 you're going to drop all the way to the ground.
Okay, now is this because I'm no longer concentrating on the shield, or is it because like it hasn't been 3 turns?
Yeah, you're under like a magical effect that is basically overriding the flight thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I got a 2.
Okay, cool. So you're gonna take 6 points of damage.
No.
All right. So
Ouch.
yeah, you thunk into the ground, and you're just like, I will say that shakes you out of your confusion. So you're just delirious on the ground and bleeding out, probably with a couple cracked ribs, and you find yourself like amidst, like you're in darkness, and you are at the foot of this thing, and you immediately start shivering as like the chill just sort of washes over you.
All
I'll
right.
say you're,
So
I'll say
you
you're
might
not
wanna-
facing it.
You might want to
Well,
drop
let me
that rope
ask
down
this.
so we can climb up.
Let me ask this: if I'm no longer under the stupor, then can I concentrate on the shield and make it fly again?
Sure, I'll give it to you.
Wait,
I mean,
is he on
I
top
don't
of
know,
the
I just-
formation or on the ground?
He's on top of the formation, at the base of the
I got-
pillar right now.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay. I mean, I don't know, John. I'm not trying to pull one over on you. It's just it does last like 3 turns. So I just want to know if was it magically negated by the pillar?
You can use it.
Okay. Then I'm just going to fly back down to the group in a circuitous route that doesn't take me near the pillar.
Okay.
And then I'll land, and then I'm going to cast Cure Light Wounds on myself for 5 points. And I'm going to say, don't go near the pillar, guys. It sucks up there.
Okay, that takes a turn.
All right.
All right. I gotta go
as-
put my kids to bed.
Oh yeah, we got simul tuck-ins. Okay, I got to go do mine too.
Okay. I guess we're
I'm
taking a
in
break.
charge
You guys-
now. Mort runs everything.
All right. Well, we'll take our second
You're in
break.
charge, Mort.
Oh.
We'll take our second break, and we will be back in a moment. All right, back again. Bladders empty, beers full. All right. So, so Lothar, you went back down and healed yourself. Upior is still up there floating. What do you want?
I am. Gentlemen, would you like to destroy this pillar? Or to attempt to?
I mean, I can see what you're getting at. I also argue I don't know enough about it to know that it's safe to try. It could, explode with the force of 1,000 suns, and we'd be very sorry at that point. Briefly, sorry.
Then we wouldn't know anything.
What I mentioned to Ted off camera, just for context, because y'all were tucking in the kids, was with Wolford's giant strength belt and us heaving on a rope with a grappling hook, we might be able to pull this thing down.
Or we might get electrocuted through a rope.
No, of course. Yeah. I'm just mentioning it so Mike and Matt know. Mike is still muted.
Rope is not a conductor, is it? I don't think it is.
Not
It's a conductor of magical evil.
Yeah, that's right.
Here's what I would say. And I would say that regardless, the potential for unintentional comedy is way higher if we try and take down. Let's do it, dude. I think it's really funny. We're gonna need probably like 2 or 3 ropes because it's probably like not going to go. One will snap, right? So maybe like 3 ropes around it in a loop, and then Mort and me on one, and one with big strength Wilford, and then everybody else on the other one.
Well, okay.
Whatever. It's close enough.
Brimley, right? Like, I mean, you get the diabetes.
That's right.
Oh, is that diabetes? I forgot about diabetes.
Wilford Brimley.
that kind of really, I love it.
So let's try it, dude. Come on. At worst, like you said, Ted, we'll only regret it briefly. It could potentially change something that we don't know about. And the hoppers are universally assholes. Like, we know that for sure. So
we've only met the one, to be fair, but they're probably assholes.
Yeah.
Can I suggest you could, before we start touching it, you could try throwing a bead of force at it?
No, don't waste that. That's like an encounter ender.
I would save that for the monstrous creatures that shoot out of it. I mean, it could be the stopper in the bottle.
Well, that's the other
which is one possible thing.
You guys ever see the keep? And the whole castle was just built to keep that monster in.
We can leave it be for now. It's not. It doesn't tell me to leave it be.
Okay. Do something. Come on. Let's make something happen.
Let's walk up the path and go find Dano, man. That was the whole plan.
The exit. I want to get the exit. We're going to come back. We left treasure. We left all kinds of stuff that we want to pick out when we come back.
All right, fine.
Stick to the plan. Stick to the plan.
So what direction do you go?
Are you going to be sad if we don't smash it, Mike?
I mean, sadness. I mean, I'm an adult. I'm used to sadness in my life. We can keep going.
all I'll say is, all I'll say is we seem to be very exacting in our violence against nebulously evil, if not good or good to neutral things. And when we find one unquestionably evil thing, we go, we couldn't disturb the balance.
Thank you, David. I appreciate that.
I'm just trying to get Ted's heckles up.
He's trying to get my goat, which he has done. I have now no goat. You have it. All right. I mean, I take your point. We've done a lot of questionably moral things here, and here's the ultimate evil, and we're just walking by going, don't look. But that's just it. How many things have you walked past in this dungeon that like radiate palpable evil? Two. They're both pillars, and we avoid them like the plague because things that radiate palpable power are not to be trifled with.
Well, if we want to be technical, we've done that 3 times with Onweir in the party.
Oh, wow. Oh. We worked on that one for a while, folks.
Took me a while.
Marinating for a while. All right, whatever, guys. We can put it to a vote. If we're split, we err on the side of caution. Everybody wants to pull over the obelisk of ultimate evil.
All right.
Let's roll a dice on it. Why don't we roll a dice on it?
Let's do it.
You want to do it? Okay.
Pull over the obelisk of ultimate evil, John. Let's see what happens.
Okay, so how are you doing it?
Jeez Louise.
What do we
I'm
have?
gonna throw the rope with the grappling hook on it to get it fixed on the pillar. Okay.
Yeah.
I also have a grappling hook.
Wait. Okay.
We
So
can
you're
do
throwing.
two.
You're throwing. But it's only Upior up there right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Upior, what are you doing?
I'm throwing 100 feet of rope.
Yeah.
Right. I'm 35 feet from this pillar, and I'm 40 feet up.
Yeah.
So there's 100 feet would reach them at the ground level. And I'm trying to get it fixed upon that pillar and then taut so that I can hold it at the edge of the cliff, right? And they can pull with me from below.
Okay, so you're trying to attach the hook to the pillar.
Wait, why don't we just make a loop around, like make a loop and lasso it? You could drop the loop
how would
right
I do
onto
that?
it. It's called a 2.5 inches knot, and you just throw it on there like a loop.
So I'm
put it
flying
on.
up to the ceiling again and crawling across the ceiling. You know, someone has a fly shield that they could use to do that with.
Yeah, but apparently it's how many
Not
turns do I have
anymore.
left on the fly shield, John?
You have 2 left.
2 turns. Then I'll do one rope. You do one rope. So John, I'm going to make a
John's
big
telegraphing that the minute we touch it, we're going to get zapped, though. But,
probably.
so I don't know if it's a good idea. That's a pretty heavy GM hint I just heard.
I'm just asking questions on it.
Yeah. So
And which
you know,
what's the pull direction too? Like, are we trying to pull it down? Because if we're trying to pull it to the north, we have to go up there and like make our way through the wilds of the forest. It's because it's off the path. If it's towards the west, pulling it down this way, we're gonna have to climb up, right? Otherwise, the rope's gonna get caught on those rocks. And if it's gonna go the other way, south, we got to go down around there. So which way do we want to pull? Where are our pullers going to be?
If we anchor the ropes near the top of the pillar, then it's just going to pull straight down. I don't think we have to get too complicated about that. We can even wrap it around a giant mushroom tree and make a pulley out of it if we wanted
We
to.
have to pull it in a direction. We have to be somewhere to pull.
Well, I understand the physics, but I'm just saying it's like we can just ask John.
What have I done? I'm sorry.
if we can just ask John if there's a way to do it without it pulling down on top of us, then the answer is yes.
Do you guys think 5d6 force of damage would break the pillar and shatter it?
No.
What I'm wondering is
Save
5d6
it.
force of damage at the stone under the pillar on that edge.
Well, we can't even tell it's anchored. What if it just floats in air, Ted? What if you blow up the rock underneath it and it still just floats there?
I could drop a stalactite from above.
No, I don't think
you're going to get eaten by scourges. All right, let's not derail the whole session. Come on, we'll do a mat. We'll just go find the exit. You win.
It's funny. We were pushing so hard for the exit on Discord. Matt doesn't deserve this.
And I'll pull the thing down. I just need to know where to stand. Where do you want me to stand and pull?
All right.
My
I
suggestion
bet if you guys
would
had let me bring my lizard pet with me, this would go a lot easier. But no
Also,
lizard pets.
And guy, here's another thing. If we do this after a rest, Lisbeth can turn the rock underneath it into mud.
Yeah.
And then it'll just bloop right over.
There you go.
Sounds like we need to rest right now.
Sounds like we need to find the exit.
Camping.
Sorry, we're just I don't think we have a solid plan. Let's think about this and come back.
All right.
Okay,
Sorry,
Poor Mikey.
Where are you going?
I think we should go north.
North? We gotta go south. That's where all the cave stuff is going to be in the south.
We go north and we find the trail that the Beastman actually took.
I think Ted's right.
Okay,
They didn't take this.
We're going north. Yeah. All right. So you follow the path, so you don't really need Barrios. Remember, it's not easy to see. You're still encased with mushrooms, and you're everything's relatively okay lit because you're amongst those orange lit mushrooms as well. Don't forget, if you ever want to stop and forage for something, just let me know. And you're going to be moving at half speed through here. So what did I say? 50 for that, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So it basically goes in a relatively straight line, Ted, for another 50 feet before that turn is over. Don't mind me.
Okay.
For what it's worth, John, I'll spend my last turn flying, like at like 3 feet height type thing with them.
Sure.
Sort of like that, John?
Yep. and then it it continues north. So you can basically draw a relatively straight line until it basically connects with what you expect, which is the shoreline route, which basically parallels roughly about, I'd say, about 10 feet south of the shore. So like that path is actually deeper. Yeah, it's in the forest. You're not actually like, you can't actually see the lake. Okay, so by that time, yeah, and don't mind me. Oh. Just disregard that reaction.
Yeah, sure.
So there is one, while you're thinking about whatever you think about is who you are.
Yeah, don't worry.
Do your thing. But as we're going along, I think at this point enough turns have gone by that Wolford can complain out loud instead of in silence, right? Or is he still in the bubble?
Actually, at the point where you meet the east-west route, the silence actually disappears.
Oh, good, because I've got a few things to say. My feet hurt, my knees are stiff, and I'm hungry. And he's going to start as they go along, just like grabbing little pieces of mushroom and showing them to Lisbeth. And every time she says like, no, he won't. But as soon as she says, maybe, he's going to taste one. Because people have to, especially if like there's like bites out of it already.
You guys are insane. You don't want to pull the pillar down, but you are willing to just eat a random mushroom in a dangerous forest.
We got a druid. She knows if it's poison. You don't do the bright ones. You don't do the glowy ones. You just pick a nice looking yummy one and just like take a little taste.
Okay, you do actually find out some stuff.
I love this idea, but
go ahead, David. Sorry.
I love this idea, but before Wolford starts tripping and runs off to take a swim, could someone else be tethered to me?
What? I've got you. Come on. I've kept you safe this whole time. I'm just a little peckish.
Wolford, in addition, as you're sort of moving through and kind of taking samples, you actually find something just off the path that is not mushroom. It is actually another little find that you found. I'm sorry, that doesn't make any sense. An item that you find on the ground. It's a 6-inch tall terracotta figurine of a man that is wearing an eye patch and a patchwork cloak, holding a huge sack and wielding a tiny, narrow dagger. And it sure looks to you to be a rather cute sculpture of representation of Laryl.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Hey, look, we got a little action figure.
Yeah, he's like 6 inches tall. Yeah.
Is it hey headband guy? Is it magic?
It is not magic.
Okay.
Does it have a kung fu grip?
Right on, dude.
Yeah, how many points of articulation, John?
So I'm going to say for this this little foraging thing that you do for this amount of time, Wolford, Elizabeth, you find 2 different species of mushroom that you're like, what about these? You're convinced that it's coming from the same mushroom, and she actually points out to you that no, they're actually different. One has a white bulb, and one has white ribs, right, like the underside, right? And she tells you that the ribs underneath are good for eating, but the bulb is highly poisonous. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And they're 2 different species, though, I should be clear. Like what? So the ribbed one are like really massively tall. These are actually the tallest mushrooms in the forest. They actually are over top of the orange ones, and their caps are so wide. They have 4-foot wide caps that sometimes they actually are a canopy over the orange ones and obscure some of their light from above. Like Upior would be able to tell that, right? They're 15 feet tall, but they are actually nourishing. They can be like used as rations. The poisonous ones are smaller. They're about 11 feet tall, still taller than the orange ones. And they their bulbs are highly poisonous. And she slaps that out of your hand before you eat a chunk of it.
Like poison enough to make toxins out of, John?
With effort, yeah, you could, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And we haven't found any sky cap mushrooms, right?
The cloud caps, yeah. So
cloud caps.
You have seen those. That's why I was sort of pointing out that, you know, if you want to stop and do stuff, you can, you know, but you haven't taken the time to actually harvest them yet.
Should we harvest some, guys, or I don't know? I don't know what use they are for anyone besides Dano.
It might be a nice thing to walk in as a sort of a peace offering. Like,
Give her
hey,
a
we
couple.
heard you had a rough day. Here's some cloud crackers.
So you had a bad day.
Queen came around and killed all your folks.
Mother treasured
we don't know
these
anything about what
above all else. Barrios kind of tells you. Oftentimes she would feed them to her, to not only her harem but also to us if we had done something to please her. They would often heal our wounds. Surprisingly.
Oh, does anything have to be done to them for them to do that, or do you just eat them raw?
No, just eat them raw, unprocessed.
Oh, nice. Let's grab as many of those as we can get.
Dano put them into her tripods and did something to them, the cauldrons. Made some sort of admixture. That's what she treasured them for.
Well, I'd say in that case, if we see a stand of cloud cap or growth of them that we could harvest, we should probably do it.
Yeah, so basically the way I'm ruling it is that if you want to search for a specific kind of mushroom, if you're on the path, there's a chance that you won't even see it. If you delve deep, it would take like 1 to 3 turns at random to find what you want.
John, I still have witches and the forsaken paths they tread on my person.
Mm-hmm.
I know we found out sort of about her in the phylactery. Do I recall any notations in them about like witches' brews and things like that? And if so, I'd be out on the look for. I mean, we know Dano used these, but sort of just like as we wander and forage, if there's any additional help that would give Lisbeth, I'd provide it.
Yeah. Give me a sec. Where is this one?
We picked it up in her secret.
Dano's closet.
Yeah, no,
Dano's closet.
I'm looking at it. So again, this is like a children's work, right?
Yeah.
So it's all very like sing-songy and rhymey. So it's like there's not like a recipe like you put this in, But there is I will say there is like a nursery rhyme or like a warning, like a dark fairy tale sort of thing about how witches like to transform people that irritate them or ones that they want to keep around often. And they do say that rare mushrooms that live underground are often used in the concoctions in their boiling cauldrons to do so.
Sure. Okay.
So guys, do we think it's worth straying to try to get some cloud caps to give her as a sorry all your people died present, or do we want to just stay on the path and keep going?
I don't want to go off the path, man.
Yeah, let's just keep going.
All right. So
Okay.
Wolford will just like munch on a few of those gills that he's able to kind of rip off
Okay,
with
cool.
his spear. Just
All right,
as
so
a little snack.
Yep, that's like a ration, basically, is what that is.
Yeah.
Okay, and
It's
you,
like chicken.
so you, when you're at the crossroads, you continue to head east, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, did you take the Laurel terracotta thing?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's a
is
slot.
it a slot or is it?
It is.
Oh, it
It's a
is.
slot,
Okay.
Yeah.
And just remember, John, at my elevation, I'm really scouting ahead of where they can see if I can see any movement and such.
Right. Don't mind me.
Barrios and Mort are going first to scout the trail.
Okay. So Upior, you at your height now, you can your left isn't completely taken up by the darkness of the lake. That's what you're basically seeing out there. But you don't see anything untoward happening in that direction. And you guys are scouting and you're moving ahead. So basically, you could just go 50 feet along the edge there after a turn. Don't mind me. Okay. And okay, so I'm just going to kind of give you a little bit of extra movement just to get to a point, but don't mind me in a second. Nothing. Okay. Okay, so by the end of 2 turns, carefully moving through the fungal forest along the path, you reach the eastern wall, about 15 feet-ish from the lakeshore. Okay. And at that point, one moment, please.
Oh no.
Oh boy, he's finding friends for us.
Okay, you can see that at ground level, right where you are, there is a 10-foot wide natural opening that heads directly. It heads about 45 degrees to the northeast into a natural tunnel. Okay.
Like so?
Yes, correct. And it's a little bit north of that, Ted, but that's fine. It looks like the immediate ground, I'd say like maybe a foot to maybe 2 feet in front of that cavern is clear. Okay, but the cloud, the caps of some of the larger mushrooms are still like over your head at that point. And Barrios you can see Barrios' eyes sort of narrow and look suspiciously like at the ground and into the cavern sort of thing. You know, he's just sort of.
Okay.
Before we go in. Oh,
yeah. I was going to say, before we go in, John, I take my grappling hook, I tie it to some rope, and I just throw it into the middle of that clearing there.
You just throwing a rope
to the ground?
onto the ground?
No, my grappling hook, my heavy grappling hook. So I just want to see if there's any traps or triggers, like a net trap or and then I'll throw it far enough that it goes into the tunnel. Yeah. And then I'll drag it back slowly. Right.
Okay.
So if there's like tripwires or anything like that.
Okay. So you, Lothar, that was a good freaking move because you toss it and you can hear like a twang, and then immediately a rock fall goes and goes and like right where you would have entered the cave.
Cool. Except now it's blocked by rocks, or no? Is it blocked by rocks?
It's not blocked, but it's like now it's more difficult to kind of get over.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
While Lothar's doing...
Oh, go ahead.
I'm a broken record here, but while Lothar's doing that, I want to ascend to see if I can see the peak of this side of these rocks and if there's any points of interest on this end. John.
60-foot part there?
Yeah, the 60-foot part. I want to ascend it at the northeastern edge of these rocks and look over the top there.
On the freestanding rock formation, you mean?
Yes, on the freestanding rock. Yeah,
okay.
I want to look both on the freestanding formation and across from it on the cave wall.
So at the cave entrance, by the way, that rock, you can easily tell, Lothar, too, that what you sprang was held up by a strong net, and that net basically collapsed that was holding rocks, and it basically dropped in front of the entrance. Upior, you go all the way up 60 feet, and there's only like a 20-foot gap between the top of the formation now and the stalactites that are hanging from the ceiling. Give me 1 second. It is what you kind of expect, that it is natural craggy rock on the top there. Doesn't appear to be any different than where the pillar was. Let's see. Okay. Now, Upior. First of all, the cavern wall does not appear to be anything remarkable. Natural, the typical thing. However, if you look at the Miro, if you can see right below where I wrote the 60 feet, like right here.
Yeah.
Okay. There is actually like a bit of a area that is relatively flat. It looks like it's natural, but it looks like that place was chosen to have in the midst of it a 5-foot diameter hole that goes directly down. What's interesting is that the hole itself appears to be a perfect circle.
Does it look roughly the diameter of the evil pillar?
No, the pillar was 8 feet in diameter.
It was 8 feet. Okay. Now,
does
John,
it look
is there anything?
Same,
sorry.
Does it look the same diameter as the teleportation circle, John?
No.
Is there the same diameter as a sphere of annihilation?
Yes, Ted. How did you know?
John, I'm also going to look directly above that location on the ceiling of the cave to see if there are any similar holes on the ceiling.
Good question. No, it looks to be natural stalactites, just like you expect.
All right. Well, I'm going to trot over to this hole and look in it.
Okay, so you're pulling yourself along the
There's
rock.
a hole. Yeah.
Okay.
I get plenty of slack in the rope, so
you should go ahead.
you crawl your way over, floating, right? And you look down into the hole, and it looks like it goes down into darkness past your 30 feet. It looks like it was like once you're looking into the hole, you can see that it was tunneled, but roughly, right? So something sentient made the hole, but it doesn't look like it was worked. You know what I mean? In any sort of way. There's no masonry. Is what my point is.
Here's what I'm going to do, John. You ready? That second thing of 100 feet rope, I'm going to tie one end to my locket necklace.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to dip it down so there's a light source at the end of my rope down that hole.
Okay.
Well, you realize if you go past the Bracteros effect, you won't be able to see it either.
That is true.
I didn't
You
think
have
about
a torch? Just drop a torch down.
I don't have
Why
a
didn't drop
torch.
Maybe you should just go down the hole, David.
Woo!
Let's go down the hole.
Challenge issued.
Okay. You can't say that to me of all people, Ted. Okay, I'll take the second 100 feet of rope.
Why don't you throw more down
I'll
there?
tie it to the end of the first 100 feet, and I will attempting not to touch the walls in any way, try to slowly descend down the center of this 5 foot wide hole.
You're not going to spit in it first?
No. But I will be. Well, bear in mind, I'm going to be looking at the edge of my light, right, and not. Sure.
No, I understand. Yeah. So you're affixing the rope to a rock at the top, right? I assume.
No, I have 100 feet to Wolford, and I'm going to take another 100 feet. I guess I could just tie the first one off instead of having 200 feet of rope.
I don't know how we're going to be able to retrieve you. Yeah,
bro. I think they're not going to be able to retrieve me if I'm not on the full light. So I got to be on the full fishing line. I'll explain that this is what I'm doing to them.
Have you not seen Empire Strikes Back?
Okay. All right. Got it. All right. So it's one long line that's going over the edge of the cliff all the way down the wolf herd. Okay. And you're using the levitation to levitate down, holding onto the rope.
Yeah.
Right. Not touching anything. Okay.
Yes.
It's narrow. It's claustrophobic. And it goes down, down, down. And you know that where the hole was, you were 60 feet up above the fungal cavern floor. Mm-hmm. And you're going down, and it goes down for 80 feet. So now you're below ground of the fungal cavern. Okay.
I love it. Remember when I called a secret door up here? Remember when I called it during the detox? I told you something would be up here.
That's a turn. Don't mind me.
All right.
Okay. It goes 80 feet, and it at 80 feet you can see, but probably a little bit before that because of your light, you can see that at the 80-foot mark, it actually opens up into a small cavern.
Well, I'm gonna take a peek.
Yeah.
Okay. You continue to drop down.
I'll get to the orifice of that opening and not go through it, if that makes sense. And I'll take
Okay, yeah. You can tell too that your rope is going to run out soon, and it looks like your rope actually will reach to the floor almost exactly of the cavern. Okay. If you wanted to go in there, but you're peering through the orifice into the cavern, you can see that the cavern is about 15 feet high. And it's about 20 feet wide.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually fluctuates in height, so it ranges from 8 to 15 feet high because it's like craggy and natural, but it's roughly about 20 feet wide. And you can see that the cavern itself snakes unevenly, very naturally, along rocky floors, again, that you sort of have to scramble and boulder over and all that kind of stuff, towards the north. Like you're basically dropping down into the southern end of it, and the cavern itself would kind of snakes its way towards the north. Everything is cool and very dry.
No sound.
No sound except no sound. Yeah.
Do I feel any passage of air? A vacuum effect by the hole or anything like that?
Yeah, just the natural thing, I guess, whatever that would do. But yeah.
And does the ground look disturbed in any way that would be obvious from traffic?
No. It looks like a very secure place. Like it's very temperate, cool, dry.
Yeah, there's another stash hole.
Don't forget he's got the circlet on. Is it showing any secret doors or anything magical in the room or anything like that?
Yeah, thanks for reminding me, but no.
Gonna build a little summer home down there, David?
And the passage is out.
Is the floor rock or sand?
Rock.
Okay, and the walls don't look like they were eroded by water recently or anything like that. You said it's dry.
Yeah, it's dry. Yeah.
Could a person travel their regular speed walking along this floor, or is it so rough that it would slow you down?
No, they could actually do it. That's actually a good point too. I guess with these questions, it looks Upior that it's not natural. Like again, it looks like an extension of the shaft that you just went down. So rough worked stone. You know what I mean?
So we are roughly 100 feet down from the top of this cliff. So 40 feet below what we call ground level in the fungal forest. And it's basically doing a perpendicular northward tunneling.
Snaky tunnels.
Past this room. So it's kind of a bubble of a room and a single exit that turns into a tunnel.
It's
John?
or
it's just a continuous.
It's a continuous sort of like worked cavern. Yeah, going north. But it looks like it was carved out of the surrounding rock.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, I don't want to go too far afield here, so I can come back up. Is there any value in me going about as far north as where the lake would be and seeing what's there, like 40 feet and running back? Because I'm very curious.
I agree. I think you should go look at least a little way, because if it goes too much further north, it could run into the lake.
That's what I'm wondering.
It's got to connect.
So dry. There would be ambient humidity if it linked up with the lake.
But my point being that it isn't going that far. Yeah, probably. Like whatever's in there might just be outside of his light.
That's what I'm wondering. Okay, so I'm gonna untether from the rope very foolishly.
I do just want to point out that John said that this was naturally carved. It's something's lair, right? Like that's kind of like my worry is that this isn't going to lead somewhere except into the belly of the beast.
Well, I'm in it, baby.
It's the opposite, Mike. Maybe like it looks like it was. It's just it looks rough hewn, but it was hewn.
Yeah.
I thought you meant that it was not worked. So it was not worked with tools, meaning it was like something natural dug its way through.
No, it was definitely worked with tools, but there's just no masonry involved, right? Like,
gotcha.
It was like hacked out roughly. You know what I mean?
Somebody diggy that hole. Yeah.
I'm going to untie and I'm going to carefully walk. I'm going to do my 2 it's safe pulls on the rope so you guys know. And I'm going to go north. See what I see.
Okay. I turn to Morton. I go, 2 tugs means that he's in danger, right? Pull.
2 tugs means
pull the rest of the rope.
Yeah. He's done.
So again, are you just using handholds to like basically propel yourself, or are you walking on the ground?
I can just walk at this point. If I'm at I'll go down. I'll deactivate my boots because I can reactivate them as needed, and I'll just walk through the tunnel.
Okay, cool. All right. So you walk at your normal speed, which I'm assuming is 90.
I'm at 120.
Oh, 120. Okay, so before the turn is even over, you kind of pick your way over this rocky floor, uneven, all that kind of stuff, wondering like what the hell's going on, and you go for 80 feet. Relatively directly northward, okay, on a snaky sort of path. Again, in this sort of, and you can see there's numerous spots here, like would be good for resting. Like it's like it looks very secure, right? You're not getting, it's mysterious, but you're not getting any bad vibes, right?
Yeah.
Now, in the extreme north corner, after 80 feet, there is another, almost identical, 5-foot diameter hole in the ground that goes down into darkness. However, there is a couple things that are near that hole. One is a strange flower. It is a a rose that is actually growing out of a crack in the rock near the hole. Green with bright red or the bright red bloom, and it's the only reason you notice is because your Bracteros effect light, illuminated it. So you know that before you came upon it, that it was existing and living here in complete darkness, where photosynthesis is not possible. Right? Not that you know what that term is, but you know what I mean. There is also, right next to the hole, there is a cache of food. There's appears to be dried fruit of dried fruit of an unusual nature that you can't really tell what it is. 1 pound of dried but extremely leathery meat, and there are 2 flasks next to it that are made of a strange orange-colored material that is light and smooth. That's a material that you've never seen the like before. All right, sorry about that. That was an unexpected visit by my dog. Take care of that. Okay, so
Elvis, the best of us.
That interrupted what was a pretty cool discovery. So now that heightened emotion is completely deflated, I'll just.
I can get it right back up, baby.
Yeah.
So
I'm ready.
let me. So we have this weird rose. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a cache of food which looks ancient and leathery and basically inedible at this point. 2 flasks made out of a strange, smooth, orange-coated material. In addition, 2 1-inch wide discs, very small, that are also made out of what appears to be an orange substance as well. And carved on the rock wall is some strange text. When you look at it, you can recognize it as what appears to be some sort of alternate version of the glyphs that you've seen. Okay, but not quite.
Glyphs?
You can. Yeah, it looks like Rudishva glyphs, but it's like it's sort of like when you look at like the kanji or something like that. You can kind of recognize like Chinese like ideographs as it's like they related but different. And so it's definitely like a different language, but based upon Rudishvan.
It's like a dialect.
Yeah.
Cool.
Interesting.
Well then, do I see
how many glyphs are on each of these things, Sean? Because if they're only an inch wide, then is it like a?
No, it's on the wall.
Correct.
Then what's on the little disc?
Nothing.
Nothing.
They're just little discs.
John, do I see any light emanating in the hole below?
No.
Does it lead to another passage that's lit? No.
Nope.
Smell the rose.
Do you think the rose might be an alarm? I don't know.
Give it a sniff.
Yeah, smell it.
Maybe you'll be.
Okay, I'll smell the rose. Never say I didn't do anything from you all. I'll smell it.
Well, we haven't asked yet. Are any of these things lighting up like Christmas with his circlet?
My magic circlet.
On?
Good question. Let me take a look here.
I would imagine that rose is because it's growing without any light, right? It's got to be.
It could be plastic.
Nothing here is magical.
Huh. I wonder if it's the illusion you'd know. Huh.
Oh, fascinating. Well, this is a vote juncture, boys. Do you want to come with me down here? Do you want me to exit and do this after we leave? Does this lead to an exit? All questions.
Oh, it doesn't lead to an exit, but it's cool, whatever it is.
There's so much cool stuff. I'd say pick up the loose things. If you're feeling, if you're feeling your oats, sniff and then poke the rose, but that might kill you. And then bring those other things back with you.
You didn't look down the hole yet?
I looked down, but it's not lit. So the way I would have to find out is by either doing the amulet on a rope or hovering down again, which I'm willing to do. I can hover down and come right back up. And if we find another room, we'll just say not this time. But we have to figure out what that juncture of not this time is.
If we're in the room, he would absolutely go down that hole.
Mike?
I mean, yes. Yes. But you don't have to do it. Here's what I would advocate. Let's send the goblin down the hole because he's real quick to volunteer everybody else.
Well, why don't I bring all of you down here? Why don't I bring all of you down here? I can't believe I'm sidetracking us. This is becoming too much of a meme for the community. But
This isn't you. This is everyone. This is
all right.
You're off the hook on this one, David. We made you do this.
I will emerge back out. I don't want to touch the rose yet, to be honest. I love
Yeah.
it. I love the great seal song, "Kissed by a Rose on the Grave."
No,
Ooh, the more I think of you,
the
the
channel for this,
stranger.
David.
David,
Save that for your OnlyFans.
Are you taking the stuff back with you?
I don't know if I want to disturb anything, guys. For some reason, for once, don't want to touch anything right now.
Yeah, I think that's smart.
Especially with the rose kind of indicating that not everything's as it seems.
All right, so you're coming back on your own?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so it's going to take 2 turns to get all the way back to your companions.
Yeah, 120 moving rate. I can sprint.
Well, that's okay. You could.
Why don't I sprint back and then hover up and
Lift
call
everybody up from the
Can reattach.
Now lift everyone up with
Get
the
the
rope.
rope. Yeah.
The only actually,
All right.
John. So he's gone a few turns. In that time, do the beastmen make contact with us, or we just stand there with our thumbs up our jacksies?
You're standing there with your thumbs up your butts.
Well,
Okay.
I'm not doing that.
Great.
I'm looking in that cave right there. I'm not just going to stand around doing nothing. I want to see what's in that cave today.
We should try and clear the rocks out of the way. Maybe there, Wolford.
Or if we can, I mean, if it's impassable, we can. But otherwise, we can just scramble over them.
It took me 1 turn to head to the second hole. FYI, guys.
I just want to peek in and see what's up.
Yeah.
What's up?
Okay, so so during that time, you can scramble over the rocks if you want. You can see that there is a rough passageway that goes for about 30 feet towards the northeast before it opens up into a small cavern with numerous egresses. Let's see. The walls are slick with moisture here, and the temperature is about 10 degrees warmer than what it was in the fungal caverns. So it's pretty humid. The floor is muddy sand and gravel, and you can tell as you sort of enter into that cavern area. So the cavern itself is about roughly like 20 feet by 10 feet. And that 20 feet sort of extends to the northwest from that place where you enter it from. Okay. There is an opening to another cavern in the northeast side of it. And there is a small, tiny, almost like super tight little winding tunnel that heads towards the southeast. Okay.
So something sort of like that, John?
Yeah, more or less.
Stomach.
Yeah. It's pretty decent. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, in the first of all, you can see where it opens up to the northeast into another cavern. That there is definitely light, like flickering light, coming from that area. However, in the northwestern section of the cavern that you're about to enter into, you can see that there is a broken spear haft that is stuck into the ground, into the muddy ground near the wall, and there is a decomposing baboon head impaled on it with its like tongue like lolling out and its eyes like rolled back.
Okay.
Do we recognize the make of that spear? Does it seem like the kind of weapon that the beastmen were using?
Barrios confirms it is a beastman spear. Yeah.
Okay.
He says, likely a warning. There's danger about. And he kind of nods his head towards like the light coming from the northeast. And when you're quiet and like looking, you can hear what appears to be like you take it to be like crackling fire at first, and it does have that sort of sound to it, but you could swear that it's actually, when you listen to it closely, that it appears to be like laughter in the form of crackling fire.
Huh.
From numerous things.
Okay.
The mystery hole's sounding pretty safe.
Yeah. So these types of warnings are kind of make me feel like a booby trap might be there. So I'm going to do my trick again with the grappling hook. First of all, is it possible to tell, John, how long that baboon head has been stuck on that spear? Is it days or is it weeks?
Been weeks, yeah, long time.
Okay. And so is there any smell in here besides the smell of the baboon head?
Just moisture, wet rock. But yeah, the decomposing head. Actually, I take that back. I would say days, not weeks for the head.
Okay.
At this point, though, I think we need to call it because it is time. So we'll say at the point where you guys are sort of peering into that cavern but not entering it is also the point at which Upior gets out of the tunnel, and you're on top of the 60-foot rock formation. Okay, so you still have that connection to Wolfherd, right? I guess you would.
I had untied to go to walk the tunnel, but I would have retied it before ascending. Yes, that's the idea.
So Mort
So I would
and
feel
Barrios,
the rope starting to tug again.
Yeah.
well, Mort and
yes.
Barrios will have the rope if Wolford's going into the cave.
Yeah, and it is long enough. So yeah, so you would still have the
200
connection
feet.
to Upior. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, it's
60 feet. I think you're at the
60 feet
length
up.
of it.
Yeah.
And then 80 feet down. So
Yeah.
200 feet rope, he's got more than enough length, even with knots.
I mean, for what it's worth, I don't have to be tethered to the rope. I can float down. It's not like I'm floating away. It's just good for us to be.
Yeah. Okay, but for next
Umbilicals.
session start, we'll just have you at the top of the formation. Is that cool?
Yep.
Fine by me.
All right, cool. All right. So yeah, we'll call it there. We've got multiple avenues of exploration going on here. Lots of interesting things about to happen, or possibly. So we'll see what they decide to do next time. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching and or listening to 3D6 Down the Line, the most criminally underwatched actual play series on the internet. Please do not forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notifications every time we publish new material. You can find us on our socials. We mostly hang out on Blue Sky these days, and definitely join our Discord server. It is free to join. Lots of fun talk and chat going on at all hours of the day. Check out our publication, Feats of Exploration, and if you have the wherewithal, hook us up with a Patreon subscription. Get a couple of extra bennies in the Discord server. And thanks as always to all of our patrons, our explorers, our delvers, and especially our conquerors. Ted, take it away with who those fine people are.
Hi, everybody. Well, I'd like to welcome 3 new conquerors this week.
Ooh.
Isaac Spencer, James Boyle, and Stephen BKK, as well as our long-term conquerors, Doc Jones 73, Snords, John Hooker, Kayla Ripley Wolf, Zachary Hall, Saps, Papa Bear, Zach Shiflett, Mercury 605, Ruben D. Collar, Dave Rosser Jr., Andrew, Dakota Nielsen, Cam, Stephen Quasenberry, Brad Naden, John and La Logan, Kabrowskis, Magic Meat Machine, Tom Leary, Phil, Jeff Tokach, G Tokyo Time, Nick, Terry Barney, Eric Lawson, Mando NZ, Faisal, the excellently named Ted Gast, James Doig, Nefarious Gamer, Grunt, Andrew Schroker, MM, Michael Schilling, Stefano Di Maiolo, Ash Gabrielle, the Hex Brawler Twins, Summon Toast, Dragonheart Adam, Scott Yearsley, Mech Jack, Kick Maniac, Dire Grew, Tom Eric Garrettson, not Matt but not least, Matt Mason, Matt Gardner, Matt Koenig, Matt Young, Matt.
Yeah, still the kings of all the names. Yeah, all those
Hey, we know a good thing when we see one.
Thank you, as always, to not only the Mats, but everyone else. Thank you for your continued support. We really do appreciate it. Everyone have a great week, and we will see you next time. Take care, folks. Bye.
Thanks, John.
See you. Thank you, John.